Season 1 of the hit TV show Moon Knight, it was real interesting. I like the protagonist, and while I'm not really familiar with the Marvel character, this was a show I very much enjoyed. I have to say, Marvel Studios did again as they put out a compelling TV series about a Marvel character I really don't know that much about. But I will say that this was an interesting journey, and certainly it kept my interest all throughout the 6 episodes. So for those of you who want to know, yes, this will have spoilers, and so spoiler warning. So basically, this show is about Mark Spector. He is a guy that suffers from DID. He is a guy that suffers from dissociative identity disorder. And that's where Stephen Grant comes into play in this series. When Stephen experiences blackouts, then he has to put the pieces together that deals with Egyptian gods. And of course, dealing with a dangerous Arthur Harrow played by Ethan Hawke. I will say that Ethan Hawke pretty much stole every scene he was in. He was the perfect antagonist to Stephen Grant and Mark Spector. I have to say that Oscar Isaac did an awesome job playing Stephen Grant and Mark Spector. His performance in these 6 episodes really what kept me engaged. Simply because you have to have a strong male lead, especially playing a character like Moon Knight. And then you have F. Murray Abraham, who had voiced Khonshu, the Egyptian moon god. Khonshu was an interesting character. He has his own backstory of how he met Mark Spector. That fight scene between Ant-Man and Khonshu in episode 6, wow, that was cool to look at. And of course, May Kalamawi playing Layla. These 4 characters, they really kept me invested with the story that Marvel was telling. And for a darker TV show, it actually worked for the character that obviously was portraying. Mental illness, the weirdness of it all. And of course, the emotional trauma that Mark Spector goes through. I mean, he crazed Stephen Grant because his mother had beat him when he was a child. All because she blamed him for the death of Mark's brother, and so he had to deal with that. And there's so many interesting twists and turns throughout these 6 episodes. I really didn't have any expectations of the show before it had premiered, simply because my lack of knowledge of the character. Now, I've done research on Moon Knight, and apparently a lot of people have been comparing him to Batman. He has gadgets, he has his moon plane. But in this TV series, they take all that out. He doesn't have a moon plane, It's not like he has fancy gadgets, he has superpowers. And I think that was the right way to go, because you don't want to have people comparing Moon Knight to, Batman, who recently had a new movie came out earlier this year. But I will say that as far as the entertainment value, it's very interesting. This TV series, I hope it gets a second season because, man, there is some lore to explore with this character. Now, granted, not everything about this show is great. The confusion will turn some people away, I assume. And not just that, though, but Marvel's been doing these TV shows since last year. I have to say, this is probably one of the best ones so far. Now, granted, some episodes you're going to be saying, like, what's going on? But what I wanted to really say is that the characters, they're real interesting. And apparently, Moon Knight's going to be introduced into the MCU movies later on, from what I read. And, honestly, this was the perfect way to introduce the character. TV series. You can do a lot more with a TV series than you can with a 2.5-hour movie. You can tell so many stories with that. Still, though, I would like this series to be a little bit better. And what I basically mean by that is that, not everything is explored fully. Of course, it only has 6 episodes, you can only do so much. But if season 2 does happen, I want it to be real cool. I mean, the first episode sees Moon Knight fighting what I assume is a werewolf. So there's more to explore within, Moon Knight's, world, the lore of the character and all that. I'm giving this first season of this TV show a 8 out of 10. This first season of this TV show is just as good as WandaVision and Loki, and a lot better than the low point that was Hawkeye. One of the most interesting reveals in this first season is the mere fact that Stephen Grant is actually the personality of Mark Spector. He is not the original. It certainly adds a different layer to the MCU simply because we didn't have a character like this before. And I certainly will be reading Moon Knight comic books in the near future because I want to know much from this character as possible. I mean, he is a member of the Avengers from the comic books. So season 2, you could do so much more with this character. Nonetheless, though, at the end of the day, this was a successful first season in my opinion. And there is a lot that goes on in these 6 episodes, which makes it compelling and very entertaining to watch. And that's my review of the first season of Moon Knight. Alright, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this TV series. Okay, this is Slum Guy 172 saying peace out.